Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. In this video, I want to take an in-depth look at the Kadence Modal Block. After watching this video, you'll know what it is, what it isn't, and how to use it. The Modal Block comes as part of the Kadence Blocks Pro. It's fairly unique, as neither Quimbly or Stackable, the two other general block sets that I prefer, include a modal option. Let's understand what the modal block offers. A modal is a type of pop-up or message box that appears over the page content. Web browsers are often set by default to block pop-up windows. While you can still add a browser extension to block pop-ups, people don't usually do that. This means that the modal is an ideal way to present information about sign-up forms or special offers, as they're unlikely to be blocked by the user's web browser. There are extensive pop-up libraries that come with a large range of trigger rules for showing a pop-up. This includes things like entrance or exit triggers, or the amount of time on the page, or maybe the scroll percentage. The Kadence Modal Block isn't like that. It doesn't have a lot of sophisticated triggers. The Kadence Modal Block is triggered by a mouse click, or if you're on mobile, a tap. While the Kadence Modal Block doesn't have a lot of triggers, it is very full-featured and stylish. Modal Block allows you to place almost any kind of content you can use in Gutenberg into a pop-up. Note that while you can add videos to the pop-up, Kadence Blocks Pro also comes with a video pop-up block, so you may wish to use that for videos instead. Okay, let's get started. So I have here a test site where I have Kadence Blocks and Kadence Blocks Pro installed. I've also got the Kadence theme installed, although Kadence Blocks will work with any WordPress theme. So let's start, and we'll create a new post, and we'll call it a modal test. Let's add a bit of content here. All right, and then we'll add our modal block by typing a slash and then typing modal. Here it is in the list. Okay, when you add the block, you see two things. First, you see a button here, and then you see this gray area here with a white canvas or content area in the middle, and it says pop-up content. So this button or link here is what you use to trigger the modal, and you can trigger it from a button, or we can use a different button or an icon or any other link to trigger the modal, and I'll show how to do that. So let's add some text to our button. Okay, and let's save this and then go and take a look at it. Okay, so if I click this, we get the modal showing up right in the middle of the page. So that's the default to show it in the middle, and there's an X to close it. Okay, so let's go back now and edit that. Let's go ahead and add some content to our modal. Show you how easy it is. Let's add an image. I've got one in the media library here. We'll use this magazine. Okay, and then we'll add a paragraph of text. Now, Kadence Blocks comes with a form, a simple form block. So we're going to use that. We'll add the form. And you see by default here, it gives us the form for a contact form with name, email, and message. Well, a message doesn't make sense in terms of a sign up. So I'm going to go to the message field here. I can just delete it to remove that. But instead, what I'm going to do is change that to an accept, and we'll give it a message of the GDPR message here. And then we'll make the name field required. So you see now it's got the little orange asterisk for the button. So let's update and go take a look again. And there is our modal pop-up, and you see how easy that was to create that. I mean, look how fast we're going here. Okay, now we need to hook the form up, and the way you do that is that if we look at the properties for the form, we can see that there's a panel here for actions after submit. So you can email it, you can redirect the person after the form is submitted, so you want to send them to another page. You can send in a response email back to the person signing up saying thank you for signing up. You can save it in the database. You can send the form field values to MailerLite, to Fluent CRM, to Sendinblue, to MailChimp, or maybe Zapier or some service like that if you want to use a webhook. So you see it has a lot of options there for that. Okay, and if you click one of these, like let's say Sendinblue, then notice that you get a new panel for Sendinblue settings, or if we change that to MailChimp. So that's where you put in the information for the email sender that you're using. We're not going to go through that now. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that it's pretty easy there to add a form. So now let's go back to the modal and let's just look quickly through some of the options that the modal block has. The link settings, these are the most extensive options, and that's because you see all these here, these are all the button options, and these are almost the same as you'd have for the Kadence Advanced button. So you can style your button for normal and hover, and you have a lot of sizing, margin, and border, and other settings for your button. But at the top here, you have the option to show the link or not, and so that would hide the button. You would turn this off. We'll do an example where we hide the link, but you turn this off if you're going to trigger the modal from a different button, not using this one, but from some other link on the page. And then at the bottom of the link information, you see there's an option you can add an icon on the right or left side. You can have just an icon. And then there's this thing called Custom Open ID. And this is where you give an ID or name to your form. So we'll call this first modal. Okay, and that's how we can refer to it with a different button. Okay, so those are our link items here. And we're going to come back to this first modal item here. Let's look now at some of the other settings. We have the overlay settings. This is the background color that shows as the background around the content area, so you can change that. There's some animation settings. You can fade or slide or zoom, so you have these different directions. And then you have the same for when you're leaving. You have fade, slide, or zoom out. And then you have position options. So you can horizontally align it center, left or right, or middle, top or bottom. And then you have the size. You can fit it to content. This is for the box itself, the white area in our case, because we haven't changed the background of it. So fit to content, or you can make it full screen. So the content area of the modal covers the whole screen, or you can set your heights manually. And then we have the ability to customize the close button, which by default is this X. There are two ways to close the modal. You can close it by clicking the X or just by clicking off to the side. Here, let's update this and preview again. So I just want to show you, here's the X, so you can close it that way, or you can just click off to the side to close it. So if your users know to just click off to the side, you wouldn't have to have the button. But I think usually it's probably a good idea to have a close button there, just in case it might not be obvious how to close the pop-up. So you have the options here then to customize the close button. Okay, then you have some box styling options. This is for, again, that's content, canvas, box area. You can align the content left, right, or center, and vertically align it top, middle, bottom. And then you can change the background color of this instead of white. You can have a border radius. You can have padding inside or margin outside. Okay, and then you can have box shadow. If you wanted box shadow, you could add that here. And then there is an advanced option here, which is a little different than the default Gutenberg Advanced, because in addition to the place where you can add some classes to the block, there's a toggle here to load the content after the footer. And the modal itself, in case you haven't used these before, It's actually not created when you click the button. The modal isn't created when you click that. It's actually on the page, hidden. And so when you click this button, it shows it in the position that you've set. And so this option here says to put this content after the footer, and that might be better in some cases for performance or to make it work better. So you have that option if you need it. All right, so going back to our trigger item, our link settings here, we have this thing called first modal, our custom open ID. So let's go and add a little more content. Okay, and now let's add a button. We'll do a Kadence button. Okay. If we look at the button, it has a place for a URL for the button link. Okay, so we called our modal first modal. So let's go down here, and for the link we're going to put a $sign and then see it says first modal. Okay, so that's our link. We're linking it to the modal. Then we need to add an additional custom class to say that it's a modal trigger. Remember up here in our link settings, it had instructions that if you want to open this from another button or link, that you need to add the class modal-trigger. So let's go back to our button here, and we'll add the extra class modal-trigger. Whoops. Okay, let's save and let's preview again. Okay, now we have two buttons. This is the one that comes with the modal. We know that works, right? Now we have another button, and that works also. Okay, so here we see that you can trigger the modal from more than one link. So you don't have to create a new modal for each button. There's that. Now let's try something a little fancier. Let's add a row column block here. Okay, and I'm going to move this down into there. And then in here, I want to add an icon. Okay, we'll make that icon a little smaller. And let's choose an icon like an information icon. Okay, so now we have an icon. We'll align it to the left. Okay, and we'll have something here to trigger a new modal. So I'm going to add another modal block, and this is going to be our sidebar modal. And on this one, we're going to go to the options here for link settings, and we'll turn off the link so there's no button, and we'll give it a custom ID of side modal. And now we'll go to our icon, and we're going to give it the link of side modal. We'll go down to advanced, and we'll give it the class of modal trigger. Let's update that, and let's go and preview that. Okay, so there it is. Now let's set it to go onto the side. So let's go into the position settings, and we want this to go to the left, and we want it to be full screen height. Okay, and let's go to the overlay settings, and let's change this color. We'll make it kind of a light gray, and there's an option here for changing the opacity or the transparency. Okay, so now let's update and preview again, and if we've done that right, this time when we click on our icon, yeah, we get it on the side here, and you can still kind of see the content on the page there. Alright, so we have our side modal. Let's get rid of this, and let's add a heading block, an image block. And let's see what we've got here. Here, we'll use this image. And let's add another heading. And we'll make this an H3. And we'll say And now we'll add an accordion. Okay, and so our title will be, and the answer is yes. We'll add another FAQ. The answer is yes. This should be an exclamation point. Okay, and we'll add one more. Okay, so there's our content for this side pop-up. Let's update and preview and see how that looks. Okay, I guess we could center that. Looks a little funny with that extra white space down there. So let's go back to our modal settings. Oh, well, for this, we want it to slide in from the left and slide out from the right. Box styling. Yeah, here we go. So the inner content, we want middle. Let's update that and preview it again. Okay, now it's in the middle, and there's our FAQ. So you get the idea with this. So one more thing I want to show you is, let's go here and let's add a core button block, and we'll say open modal. All right, so now see we're on a core button block. We're not using the Kadence blocks. We're going to give it the link, same link target we used for this one, which was first modal. Okay, so now I'm going to set the link for the modal here to be this first modal. Okay, so we added the link, and now we're going to go into the advanced, and we'll add that class, modal trigger, and we'll update that. And now go in preview. Here's our core button, and we click on it and it works as well. I just wanted to show you, you don't have to use the Kadence blocks to trigger it. You can trigger it with any block or any link, as long as you can give a link target and add a class for the modal trigger. All right then, for summary and conclusions, what I found in working with the Kadence Modal Block was that while it didn't have a lot of trigger options, it was very flexible in the types of content you can add, and it has a lot of styling options. So you see, basically anything you can create with Gutenberg, you can put inside one of these modals, so it's really easy. You can open the modal using a link that's part of the block, or by using a link that's created with another block. And it's possible to have more than one link or more than one button open the same modal. It's also possible to have more than one modal on the same page. And Kadence Blocks Pro is one of the few Gutenberg add-ons to have a modal option. The block itself is pretty straightforward. You saw how easy it was. There weren't a lot of settings. I'm pleased with how easy it is to work with the Kadence Modal Block. It's another advanced feature of Kadence that makes working with Gutenberg seem less like working in an editor and more like working in a builder. So that's my look at the Kadence Modal Block. The text version of the video is available on the WebTNG website, along with other videos and tutorials and resources. I hope you found the video useful. Thank you for watching.